right, all right, all right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. You have found us again. This is Old Guys Still Rock. We are actually episode number 18 today. Woo, we did it. We're almost at 20.
We lived 18 weeks in a row. We skipped
I know.
one. So.
It's incredible, right?
Yeah.
So with that being said, I'm going to turn you down just a tad. Mic working so good right now.
My microphone's finally working well, huh?
All right. I was getting a
better?
little echo on my backside. Yeah, go ahead. Keep talking for us. We're going to work through this.
Because old guys using technology is like a caveman using a rock, right?
You look good now. Just had to.
Nice.
We were, for those of you who just don't know, we had a little bit of a microphone. Actually, it wasn't a microphone malfunction. We just were not using it correctly. It's real hard to
That'd be
get
me.
that. So anyway, it's not. Usually it's this guy, but this time it was Brent. But anyways, guys, welcome back. I'm Blair Armstrong. I am Team Armstrong Coldwell Banker. I'm a luxury real estate specialist here in Coachella Valley. And then on my right, maybe your left, depending on which way you're viewing this, you have Brent Wright, who is a multi-business owner, from payroll to body shop, property management, all of these different things. And today, all those different things in between. I've dabbled in many different ventures as well, but these are the three that he has. But most of all, his most important job that he'll tell you is being husband and wife to
husband and father, not husband and wife.
well, husband and wife, yeah, right.
Well, we don't play that on this show, buddy.
I've been in the Coachella Valley way too long. Yes, husband and father. Some cool things I did see last night, man. As I said on other episodes, I love living vicariously through you since you're so in touch with your kids. But for those of you who don't follow Brent on Instagram or through Facebook or either through April Wright, which you should. April took some really cool video last night, and things that you don't know about Brent, or things maybe you do know about him, but when he gets home, and again, his days are typically 15 to 18 hours throughout the day, but he takes 30 minutes with each child. So he has two, he has a boy and a girl, but he takes 30 minutes individually with them. So 30 minutes with his son, and then when that 30 minutes is done, it is 30 minutes with his daughter. So I thought that was pretty cool, dude. You keep teaching me stuff, man. Even though that my kids are old and I have 6 grandkids, but you keep teaching me stuff, so that's cool.
Well, the neatest part is like I got them, I have them interacting with my time block, right? So I'm sitting down and I'm writing my time block out. And my daughter says, talk about call out, she's 9. She says, so where's my block? Ouch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this isn't me being a genius. This isn't me being the best father of the year award, any of those things. This is about me giving my kids and my wife permission and opportunity to call me out where they see fit, and then for me to adapt and pivot and make changes that better their lives and mine.
Yeah. Well, what you did last night with your kids, I'm definitely in the mix the last 2 weeks of just, it's been rough, bro. Dealing with people and just the overall society and business and all that stuff. Everyone's going through it, so I'm not the only one. I'm just relating to you guys that are out there, which this show is all about. Old Guys Still Rock. It's a relationship of you're not the only ones going through it. But anyway, driving in today, about to do this episode, that kind of popped in my head. And my wife, who you guys maybe follow too as well, some of you may not, but she owns a boutique down in El Paseo. She's got some things brewing that are going to enhance her business in the future, and she will discuss those for you when those come out. But the long story short is we're both burning the candle at each end, and so we are absolutely 2 ships passing in a night, and it is just a rare bird. But what I'm getting at is that, taking that 30 minutes would make a lot of difference in our relationship right now. So definitely spurred some stuff down there, and we're not doing that. And I'm saying this publicly, is so with those guys who are out there maybe have the same type of situation, or maybe you work 16 hours a day and your wife stays home, whatever that may be, or maybe you're a wife and you're whatever it is. You have kids, don't have kids, just husband, spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend. Definitely follow Brent and watch that video and let that resonate a little bit, because it could heal a lot of issues. And so, as always, my wife, and I know that your wife watches this episode, and there's things that I say on here, and that she holds me accountable. The handle is still lava, dude.
I love it.
The handle is still lava.
Story, and she's like, see,
Yeah.
makes a difference, right? So
It's still lava. So
the key to that 30 minutes. So I also give my wife 30 minutes, which she has chosen to work out with me for those 30 minutes. And the key to it is leaving your phone in another room.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have unfettered time with people.
Yeah.
Unfettered meaning no watch, no phone, no distractions, just them.
Yeah.
Add value to your people, and the value will come back tenfold. I promise you.
Yeah, I agree with you. And one thing that I've noticed too is this: I've been so frustrated that we haven't spent time together. It's actually exuding from me and my personality, and I'm pissy pants a lot lately because there isn't that connection. You know, there's times that, well, obviously there's always, you know, I miss my spouse, and I'm sure that she would say the same thing, and I'm sure there's times April would say that about you, and those people that are watching, you may be in the same situation, you may not, but point is...
So time block it, dude. Even take 5 minutes. 5 minutes twice a day, do a video call. So sometimes technology is good for us, right? So the fact that you guys are on two ends of the valley, this just... time block it and take 5 minutes to video chat with no distractions, like her to go to her back room or her office or wherever, and you to go to your office, and don't do business. Don't sit there and type while you're chatting or any of those things. Go to your cars, right? Or something.
Absolutely.
But if you were on your deathbed today, would you have been happier to sell one more house or 5 minutes with your wife?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you that. I'd rather have 5 minutes.
Yeah.
For sure.
So make that distinction daily. You know, I'm not calling you out. I'm calling myself out, right? So
this is why we do this show, dude. I mean, at the end of the day, we've come a long way from episode number 1, and again, it's not touting that we're on episode number 18. That's not the point. The point of it is we're walking through life together. And people that do watch this show, there's somewhere along the line, not every show is going to resonate with everybody, but this is just a moment that we're in this time of it's go, go, go. We have to, it's a feast or famine type of feeling sometimes. And, you know, and we have real life stuff, and then we're just basically putting this out there. Brent's putting his stuff out there, his family out there. You know, I put my stuff as much as we've talked about out there as well, is so you know that you have an avenue. So with that being said, as we can go down this, and we still have to get our wives on here to do some stuff, because I think that will be groundbreaking for a lot of people. But the point of it is
we're going to get roasted, dude.
Oh my God, maybe we should do it remotely and have all four of them so we have somewhere to hide. But anyway, guys, what are, husbands, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends, what are you guys doing? Leave something in comments for us, or, give us a video testimonial. What are you doing to keep your relationship fresh? Or are you struggling? This is not what this episode is about. We just went down a rabbit hole for a second, and actually it's going to tie into exactly what we're going to talk about, which is AI. But the point of it is with this little segment that we've done in the last 8-9 minutes, what are you guys doing to keep fresh? Are you doing what Brent says? Do you time block something? Are you taking weekly date nights? Are you just like, dude, I am so freaking busy, I don't have time? So those are the type of things that we want to hear about. That's the type, that's what this show is all about, podcast show, video, whatever you want to call it, is to know that we want to hear what you're doing or what you need help in. And so other people can go ahead and chime in and give constructive criticism, good or, helpful or good, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So anyway, that being said, guys, today's episode, AI, talked about it a lot. There's some advantages and there's some pitfalls. And Brent and I were talking last night, and I'm not a big fan, but I've also done a research on this stuff and why I don't like it. And it does not mean you may love AI. So that's what we're going to get into today. Again, as always, sometimes I stutter. As always, these conversations are very organic. They are not scripted. They are fluid. There's sometimes I will say stuff. Brent might pull out a point that makes okay, that makes sense. I may say something to Brent that makes sense to him. But whatever it is, if you hear something on here and you want to leave a comment, that's the biggest thing for you to do. So let's get into it, brother, after 11 minutes of chit-chatting.
Yeah.
But AI, brother, just this has been on my mind a lot. I'm talking to the other agents that we have working for us about it a lot. I am not a fan for the reason is I think that there's the longer agenda. Now, I've looked into it. I'm sure that people can find some great things about it and not some great things, but for our age group, our 40-plus age group, which mostly is all of our analytics say who are watching this, there are some questions like, what is this AI, artificial intelligence? It's scary. I've seen movies about it. Robots are going to take over the world and we're going to be left, answering to nothing. For me, I feel that that's what the point is. These companies are investing heavily into AI. And if you eliminate the workforce, which now if you're working at McDonald's in the state of California, you're going to get paid $20 an hour.
Ooh. Crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
And there is a spot in Texas. I'm sorry to cut you this, but there's actually a McDonald's in Texas that has 0 employees.
Mm-hmm.
From cooking your hamburgers to wrap them in a paper to put them in a box to you lift up a lever and you take your food out.
Well, first off, stop eating at freaking McDonald's. I'm just saying.
Maybe that's
and I can go down in that whole rabbit hole and likely hit on some other political things, but yeah, first off, stop. But secondly, if you must, then at least that there's no spit in your damn hamburger, right?
True.
So, they haven't maybe some hydraulic oil from the robot, but
right.
But no human interaction. You're probably going to be cleaner. Cleaner what? I don't know, but
right. Yeah, it's
cleaner food substance. Right?
Yeah, it's definitely not. There's definitely not cows in that place, for sure. So, what are your feelings? So, you're in a world of that auto world.
Yep.
That is slowly switching over to AI. It's a little bit more efficient, putting cars together, doing some different things. What are your feelings about it? And what have you like about it? What you do not like about it?
So I have 2 choices as a human being. I can take what's coming at me and I can research it and I can figure out how to apply it to whatever I need to apply it to. Or, and also to continue on with that, and whether I like it or not like it, I can make a choice to use it and utilize it as a tool for what it is, right? And so the other option is to ignore it and get run over by it and get mad and say, I'm not going to participate in this. I'm just going to go. Like, for instance, we could continue on and purchase ADAS equipment. That's all that cool, fun stuff, like your lane change, like your temperature on your car, like the active cruise control that allows you to just basically not worry about it, and it slows you down as you approach a vehicle and then speeds you back up when you don't. I can either wrap my head around those things, or I can say, no, I'm just going to go back to working on old cars, and I can limit my scope and I could limit the ability to earn money, and I could limit the ability to grow and prosper and hire more employees and all those things. So we've taken a little bit of a modified stance. So our business is not just production, insurance production, but we also do the old cars. So I believe that's feeding a couple of different monsters for me. One, I can deal with the old stuff and have a good time, and then also complain about that, because that's really all we care about is the opportunity to complain, right? So it's human. So, there were some pitfalls about the old stuff, and typically as humans go, our memory, we only remember the good times. So we don't remember the fact that, the car, when you got into a wreck, used to impale you right through the chest because there was no airbag and there was no crush zone and there was none of that thing, none of those things. And so, we could go down that road too. There's a whole nother segment right on that. But generally speaking, we work on the old cars, and then we still work on the new stuff. And we buy the new equipment. We train our staff on it. We know, and we have to grow. No different than the aluminum vehicles. So to do that, I have to have a whole set aside, a whole area of the shop, have all the tools just to work on aluminum stuff. And they can't touch steel, and they can't be within 35 feet, and they can't. So do I not want to work on any F-150s or F-350s after 2021? Well, those are 4-year-old cars today. Right?
Crazy,
so
right?
I'd be limiting the scope of my availability to help my customer and align with my core values and my mission. Right? So do I encompass AI? Yes, I have to, because it's a tool that I have to be able to utilize. Do I like it? Not really. Do I like some of it? Yes. Do I still like old cars? Yeah, but I drove a hot rod across town for a customer this morning. We did some work on, and it was uncomfortable, and the heater didn't work, and it rode rough. And then I get in my 2022 dually, and I can drive across town without even really thinking about anything. And I can set the advanced cruise control, and it tells me when somebody's beside me, and I got in and it was 35 degrees this morning, and the heated seat came on automatically. I don't even have to touch it.
Yeah.
So hate AI, love AI, doesn't matter. If you're going to buy into it, buy into the stuff that's going to work for you and utilize it to the best of your ability. It's no different than a baseball bat, and we can go down a whole nother rabbit hole with this, right? But the baseball bat doesn't beat people. The person attached to it does. So utilize AI as a tool. We're actually working on instituting a new tool in our detail shop that's going to communicate with customers after hours or people that don't want to leave a voicemail, if in fact we're busy and we can't take a call.
Okay.
So I'll walk down this road with you. So customer calls, get voicemail because we're busy with other customers. All 5 lines are busy, and or we have somebody standing here that we're talking to. They don't leave a voicemail. It automatically senses that they have a cell phone, and it sends them a text that says, "Hey, this is Brent from Executive Auto Detail. I'm sorry that we missed you. We were busy with a client. Is there something that I can help you via text?" And then they respond, "Yeah, I'd like to make an appointment." Perfect. Here is the schedule link where you can make an appointment. Or would you like to tell me what days you want to do that and what service you want? If they text back and say, this is the service I want and this is the days that I want, the AI will pick up on that and will schedule them and send them a confirmation link of that day and service that they want where they can adjust it. And then if they accept it, then it'll auto bill them to their credit card for the deposit for that day. And then it will throw a calendar item up. It will send an email out to the staff. It will alert the production staff and put it on their calendar because we do color coding. And it will then send a reminder text to the client the day before, the hour before, at whatever interval that they peg.
Okay.
So I just eliminated a call center. I eliminated a staff person following up with that person the day before or whenever they requested it. I eliminated a step of somebody taking a credit card deposit over the phone AI's killing jobs, guys. I just killed off 5 jobs.
And that's okay. I'm glad you brought that last point up, and that's my concern, dude. Is like I get it, it's efficient, but why do we? You just took away 5 jobs or 1 job, and that's my biggest problem with it. Is that it does make life easier, especially for business owners. I could be more efficient. I could be in more places at one time. But the same sense is now that person that may be looking for a job, I don't have to pay you $20 an hour to do the same thing that it costs me. Well, it costs you up front, but the longevity of it's a lot better. So that's my thing against AI for my world, for agents. Is the more that they go ahead and you have an AI help you find a house, to look for this, to look for that, to do this, and all of a sudden the next thing it is doing is a large brokerage, which I'm a part of, but you can pick any large brokerage who's invested in that stuff, is instead of having to pay out 95% commission, or they're split, so we have a split with our brokerage. Instead of having to spend that out to it, a large brokerage could keep all that money, invest heavily into AI, and actually eventually keep 90% or 98% of that money. And that's my thing. So everyone has AI for it to certain. I'm sure that if I look through all my stuff, there's certain things that I do that use AI, and it's nice. Is I think there's a point in time to have human interaction. And I think there's a point in time to be efficiency, and that's a very slippery slope right now. Not let it engulf of what this is my feeling. You don't have to agree with me. You may be where Brent is and need that to happen, and I get it. But my thing is that we have lost the art of human interaction and relying on everybody else to do our work for us, and that's the part that I am worried about, that someone is going to become. We're creating a very lazy force, because I could even hire somebody that presses a button 15 times a day and eliminate 6 jobs to do the same thing.
So it's happened throughout history. I used to know the owner of Rosebud Forest Products. His name was Pappy Ford, and his whole last 30 years of his life was about automation, right? If he could produce a piece of plywood or a stick of wood faster, cleaner, better, with less people and less people getting hurt, was a lot of it. It was monetary as well as a challenge to see if he could design a system that was better, faster, stronger with less people. And really for him, I don't know that it was a money thing, because the guy he was a retard, Richie Rich, right? So it just he had more money than he knew what to do with, but he still was there every day. He worked 12 hours a day up until the week before he died. So, but a lot of his was, and that was from the 50s, right? So the 50s through the early 2000s that I knew him, I didn't know him in the 50s, obviously. I wasn't born then, but he started, automating in the 50s. And, Henry Ford started automating in the 1900s, the production of the car. So this isn't new. This whole automation process and this limiting amount of people needed to do a job is not new technology. Where you should be concerned about, and I am going to open this can of worms a little bit, but we don't have to go down that road, because I believe that's a whole nother scenario too.
Right.
But you should be worried about the back end agenda. Why is it that they want to drive no people interaction? Okay. And then why do they want to have less people doing more work? Because they're planning on having less people on the planet. And again, I opened up the can of worms.
You did. Right? It's a tin. For some people, that's a very shiny tin hat concept. But I think in reality, it's becoming more and more and more. If government doesn't have to, government established, I don't care. It's not right, left anywhere. Again, we're just whoever's in the White House, they're going to be bound different sides. Government doesn't have to pay for workman's comp. Government doesn't have to pay or contribute to health insurance. Those type of things. So there's different things that eliminate workforce, and then if I don't need humans, then I can go ahead and get rid of humans. you can go ahead and call us crazy, but there's a lot of writing on the wall. And if you want to debate us, go ahead and leave a comment. We're okay with that. We don't think that you have to agree to it. We're not shining up tin hats and everything. These are our beliefs. This is what we're seeing. And then some of you guys are in the workplace. You may be feeling it. AI may be taking over your workplace. You may see jobs being eliminated. You may see different things happening.
Yeah.
But pay attention. I'm not a big fan of it because I like human interaction. What I was just on, I don't know if she responded yet. Maybe this is it right here. Okay, so I went to, we have a place called Fresh Juice Bar. A good friends of ours, Marcy Medane and Chris Medane. Chris Medane owns Desert Alarm out here in the desert, big alarm company. Great people. Marcy and Chris know everybody underneath the sun. That's not the point of this. So Marcy owns this great place called Fresh Juice. You go in there, it's kind of like what you guys would be used to out there, Jamba Juice.
Yeah.
Right? But a little bit more organic, a little bit not so commercial. She's out there getting the vegetables all the time. Doesn't matter. But anyway, with that being said, dude, I was having a case of the freaking Mondays. And as I said in the earlier episode, it's been going on for about 2 weeks. I'm sure my wife is done watching me mope around. I'm not moping around, just on point, right? The bottom line is I walked in there and I am just not feeling it. I have to grab something before we get on and do this episode this morning. And her staff literally changed my demeanor. Super energetic, happy. I asked the drink. There's a menu up there. It's called Muscle Power. Whatever, and it's got whey protein in it and stuff like this, but it has almond milk in it. I'm not a big fan of almond milk, just me. I asked, can I have oat milk instead of almond milk? And she goes, absolutely, of course. She goes, can I ask you this? She goes, do you have allergies to almond milk? And I said, no, for the reason of there were certain things that had almond substance in it, right? So even though that I thought I was eliminating almond milk, there was something else in there that may have that or touched it.
Yeah.
And so if I had allergies, that one question, not only was the demeanor great, but it showed customer care. Now, with that being said, going back to what I'm pulling this into it is, I go and order AI, and it's going to go, I want this. And I'm like, cool, do you want a large or a small? Great. And I go, I want almond milk instead of oat milk. It's not going to ask me, do I have an allergy? It's just going to substitute that almond milk for the oat milk.
Yep.
And that's the point that I was trying to make. And I text Marcy back, and I have to go a shout out. I told her to give her a shout out back. But I told this, like, my day was not going very well. I can't get this to come up, but my day was not going very well, but walking into your shop today changed my whole demeanor because it put faith back into humanity. It actually built back community. It made me aware that, listen, just because I'm having a bad day, I shouldn't put a bad day on somebody else. But her employees may be having a bad day, but she's trained them the right way, and they have that to go ahead and put their best foot forward and have a smile. And you just don't get that with AI. And so I told her I'd give her a shout out. So great job, Marcy Medane. If I could get this to pull up it a little bit, and I got that. Alyssa and Madeline out of the Palm Desert store and for Fresh Juice, thank you so much. You made my day. We love you guys.
Awesome. So I'll share with you where I think that you're going with this. You may not be aware, and you may be aware, but there was a study in the 60s with a bunch of rats. And it was called the Rat Utopia experiment. You can Google it. So this gentleman, scientist, put a bunch of rats in a cage, of course. Where else are you going to control the situation? And he gave them heroin. They had nothing else to do. And at every turn, they would choose heroin over food. They would choose heroin over mating. They would choose heroin over anything, right? So you think this is where I'm going with this? This is a heroin discussion. It's not.
Right.
It could be, but it's not. So he then took the rats out of the cage and put them in a place of comfort and joy for rats. He made it to where they had interaction. He made it to where They could play. They could do all things that rats could do, chew on stuff, have a good time. And what he found is that they would never pick the heroin because they were in a social environment. They were doing rat things with rat people or rats, right? And so they would choose social interaction over heroin. They would choose food over heroin. They would choose mating over heroin. And my point to this is the social interaction part was hugely important, so important that they would choose social interaction over a drug that they had become addicted to.
I see where you're going.
And so kind of feeling like that might be what you're talking about.
It's exactly what I'm talking about, and I think this. I think that's what we're losing, and we've been talking about this pretty much every episode. Is we forgot how to have is having a purpose. God puts you on this earth. Again, believe or not believe, whatever. We believe that God put us here to have a purpose, and then your job is to carry out that purpose, whatever it may be. You may not believe in God and know that you have a purpose. Whatever that is, that's fine. The point I'm trying to make is, my thing is, since we're talking about AI, is that you have a purpose on the world to build community and to keep building that community. And if we don't do what Madeline and Alice, I'm going to butcher this name, but the ladies at just like the person you gave somebody 5 minutes ago, you gave them their name and they forgot already.
Yep.
Allison and Alyssa and Madeline. If we start eliminating Alyssa and Madeline for AI, what type of community are we building? What type of purpose are we creating? We're letting a robot take over our community and shut down our stuff. Why would we have to leave a house ever again if we have AI, right? And that's shine up the tin hat. Pretty soon we're going to go ahead and buy for sale a tin hat and get this going into it. But I know, but again, guys, and I 2 seconds.
Yep.
Guys, I know this is not a rant and this stuff that is, but for guys our age, we're seeing drastic changes in the workforce. We're seeing drastic changes in community. We're seeing drastic changes in our friends and our family because of all of this forced technology changes and all this stuff to it. And all that's been talked about right now is how do we become great? And then the same thing is now we got this AI. What I see is this AI coming from a distance saying, oh, don't worry about it. We're going to make your life easier. And the easier that your life gets, because you may not have to work very much, then you don't matter very much. And bottom line is, we believe that you work, that you're actually a crucial part of this world, and we do not want you to be eliminated. So, sorry.
So I'm going to open up another can of worms here. The second part of that study was, and it's not from the same guy, but he kind of catapulted off of that, was let's give the rats everything they want and they don't have to do rat stuff to get any of it. Okay? So now they don't have to do anything. They have fruit, they have vegetables, they have whatever they want, chew on stuff, whatever, everything, literally everything they could ever want. They have the heroin, they have all of it. They have anything they want to make their life easy. They don't have to be a rat to do any of it. Okay? So they don't have to make a nest. The nesting material's already there. It's already built. They don't have to do anything. They just have to lay around and be a rat. The next part of that study is that those rats stopped mating. They stop social interactions. They become reclused. They stopped doing anything that rats do because all they had to do was eat, be fat and happy. The males started exhibiting neutral tendencies. So not male, not female. The females started exhibiting male tendencies because they didn't have male rats to mate with. And the whole thing kind of just catapulted into this societal downfall because they had everything they needed, wanted, or otherwise and had to do nothing and had no purpose. Because they had no purpose, they didn't want to mate. Because they had no purpose, they didn't do rat stuff because they had no purpose. It changed their ability to do what they were made to do. Okay, and I think that's, I mean, you said it.
Yeah,
purpose,
absolutely.
do what you're made to do, all those things.
Absolutely.
But I think that's where you're going with it, is what is really, where's this going, and what is it going to do to us as a society? What is it going to do to us? Is it making our life easier? Yes. You know, can somebody, you know, get an automated text in the middle of the night when we're not open? Yes. But they're also not interacting with a human being. And the second part of that study may come to fruition, I think, is what your fear is, if I could summarize. And it's likely the fear of a lot of us that is driving this. It's not fear of AI, it's fear of what's AI going to do to us as a society and as humans.
Well, yeah, and I will say this. We've talked about this, I think, too. Maybe not. I can't remember. Maybe it was just an off-camera conversation. But when you have your technology wizards, i.e., Elon Musk, telling you that AI needs to take a time out for 6 months so it could not be better than we are, that's saying something. Who relies on that in his cars and Tesla, and obviously he could put a rocket in space and actually have it land right side up, you know.
Yeah.
So that part is cool. I guess again is if you're going to use AI, be very careful. And I also say this: Brent has this. We'll eventually have more team members on our team at some point in time. Being by God's grace, that will happen. But the point is, do not forget to let your employees know, or your team members know, whatever parts you is that let them know that you find out. First of all, find out what their purpose is. Everybody has their own purpose. Find that out and enhance it, and make sure that you recognize that. Because if they don't feel like they have a purpose, then yes, it's more and more likely that AI is just going to be a better fit for you. And just because AI is more efficient than maybe your employee is at a certain time, that's your fault. At the end of the day, that's your boss's fault because, and again, we're not pointing the fingers at you, but you're saying, well, gosh, I could do this, and this with that. Is you're not equipping that employee the right way. Now, again, not eliminating all AI, and I get that. I'm just saying is, if you have employees, don't be so reliant on AI, because that person is not going to, AI is going to do its job, and that may be putting a car together, answering a phone call, and so forth. But when you put AI to sleep at night, or whatever it may be, I'm just using an example, is it going to go out and talk about your business when you're not around? Is it going to go shake hands and kiss babies when you're not around? And I don't think I'm sure someday they can do that. You can have a robot to go do that stuff or whatever. But the point is going back to what we're finding out, which Brent said using the rat stuff is, the rat stuff, the less human interaction we have, the less we lose who we really are. And so I think I've just beat a dead horse with this, but don't let. I would basically engage and equip your employees or your team members or your neighbors or whatever that be is to have some human interaction. And so not only you're building community, that community is building other communities around the part. And that's my biggest fear. It's not really such a fear. It's just my concern that people are going to take too much advantage of the AI and really forget what we're here on Earth to be is to interact, and we cannot be silos. We have to be a community. And as much as you think that I have to do all this stuff on my own, you are never ever going to succeed on your own. You're going to have other people to work with. I need Brent needs me. There's 1,000 other people that we need to go ahead and become successful, not just in business, but in community-wise, to leave our mark.
Yep. Amen.
You know? And so we could go down a big rabbit hole on that, man. I think that we have a couple of parts. We talked about rats and heroin. We talked rats and pleasure and stuff like that. But those are, I would encourage you guys to look up those studies. And for us more seasoned folks that watch this show and listen to this show, what are your comments on AI? How are you using it with your business? How are you using it with your life? Would you like to do, have AI interact for you and your spouse and your kids? Because eventually that's where it's going. We use AI in essence for, hey, Alexa, send a message to my kids, or hey, Alexa, send a message to my wife. Instead of picking up the phone or doing what you said, dude, is blocking out 5 minutes of time. Yeah. So got to be very, very careful of this. But guys, what are your feelings on AI? Good or bad? How are you using it? How you don't want to use it? Pitfalls that you've seen, the advantages that you've seen. But share your comments and stuff like that. So good talk, dude.
Yeah, agreed.
There's a lot of stuff in there. Again, this conversations as always are always fluid. Any final words for you, my dude?
As always, go make a damn difference.
Go make a damn difference, brother.
Who's it going to be if it's not you?
Yeah. So, guys, again, it was this episode number 18 for us. We're Old Guys Still Rock. I'm located in beautiful Coachella Valley. Brent is located in Eugene, Oregon. That does not make us very far away from you, actually. Pick up a phone call. You can follow us on Instagram. Brent stuff is at Linktree. Can I get that? Brent at Linktree.
Linktree, Brent Wright.
Linktree,
not
Brent
Wright.
Wright.
Not LinkedIn. Linktree.
Linktree. So
right.
all of his stuff is his website, his social media pages, so on and so forth. If you haven't followed him yet, definitely follow him. He's doing some really cool things behind the scenes. Has helped building a church, helped building a school, that along with building a business. How many employees do you have now?
Oh, man. I don't want to say too many because we just went down this road with AI, but
right.
Enough. I have a lot of good people around me that are helping me to further the cause. Let's just put it that way. So,
perfect.
Depending upon the day and in which demographic and which situation and which business, I'm interacting between 10 and 50 employees a day.
Perfect. And then, again, if you're ever in the Eugene area, Eugene, Springfield, or even far away, if you really want a good body shop, look up Body Works down in Eugene, Oregon. It's just right next to Eugene Airport. You can drop your car off while you're getting on the plane and come back and have it detailed when you get off the plane. So
better yet, come by and visit. Get on the show with us.
Yeah, I like that.
Some space, add you a chair.
And my little plug, because I'm not getting paid for this, if you're ever in the Coachella Valley and you are looking for real estate, let me know. We have some actual connections across the world, and I kid you not, across the world. The great thing about working with Coldwell Banker is that we're in basically 48 different countries. And so if you're looking for a property over in Greece or Rome or even here in the United States, we can get you connected. So, guys, we really appreciate you. Again, I never thought that when we started this, we'd be at episode 18.
I know, right?
There's times that we struggle to find topics, but realistically, those are topics that we talk about every day. So first and foremost, leave us a comment. Let us know what your thoughts are. Obviously, hit that subscribe button. And if you like us well enough for today, share the show. As Brent, I always want to say, because you know how Andy and DJ say, but I don't. Pay the fee.
Yeah.
Don't be a hoe. Share the show. Sorry, Andy, had to do it.
Yeah.
All right, man. We're gonna go ahead and put some music on here. Who are you? That's the name of the song by the Who. Who are you guys? Let us know who you are, what you're doing, how you're making the community a little better. And until we see each other, guys, stay safe. But most of all, God bless. We love you guys. Thank you for all your support. Take care.